Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our channel.
Good morning.
We're at Bowenville.
We're at Bowenville.
We are. It's a free camp just outside of Oakey, and I think you can stay here for about 7 days. Anyway, I'll take you for a walk around there a little bit later on, but what I'm interested in is what Alison's up to.
I'm up to work and study today.
She is. She's doing a course. You're doing a course online at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, for some professional development hours. So
Yes, she is. So, my apologies, but for the next maybe 2 to 3 episodes, you're going to see a lot of my head and not so much of Alison. So that's only because she's busy with her work, but don't worry, by about episode 4 or 5, I'm sure that we'll have her out and about with the rest of us. So, yeah, you just have to put up with me for a little bit longer, but we'll try and include you as much as we can now.
That'll be good, but I'm sure you'll entertain everyone pretty well.
Well, I hope that I do. All right, so, yeah, as I said, we come up here to Bowenville. It's a really nice campground. It's a little bit busy at the moment because it's the Easter long weekend.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the Easter long weekend, yes.
Yeah, we left Gatton yesterday, so we went Gatton Easter Saturday, and then we come up here, it's Easter Sunday, and there is a few people around. We didn't even know this place existed. I found it on Wiki Camps.
Yeah, it's a real amazing place to stay. It's huge.
It's huge, and they're pretty flat sites and stuff. Anyway, I'll show you all that. Ellie's doing her work, and the only reason she can do her work where we are right now is because we have Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink's been great.
Yeah.
It's allowed certainly me to keep up with some work and some study, but also I think importantly, we can keep our families up to date as to where we are. We can, call and message, which is great. So
Definitely,
with all of our family all over Australia and all over the world, so it's been wonderful in that respect.
It has been. It's a huge advantage. It's a bit of a shot in the neck, the price that you pay every month for it. It's $174 a month.
Yep.
But we justify that by we don't need to have internet on at home anymore. We've both dropped our phone plans down to as low as we can possibly have them, just to pretty much keep a heartbeat with our phones as they roll along.
I think you can make the change with maybe reducing your phone plans.
Yeah.
And there's no internet at home, so hopefully it evens out. Still probably a bit more expensive.
Exactly. And the other thing we thought about too is obviously a satellite phone and stuff for communications, but at the moment everything works really well with Starlink, and at worst I think so far since we've had it, it might have taken 10 minutes to have it up and running. So it wasn't too hard. I think the hardest thing is just finding some clear sky from time to time, but they give you like 20 metres of cord, and you can buy extensions to it if you need that, just to find that clear sky. But I'm sure in an emergency, if you had to find it, you'd find it.
Yeah, I think they're always coming out with variations on it now. Well, people have been quite inventive, so how they mount it and what they do with it.
Exactly, which is a good segue, emergencies, going into last night's weather. So last night, it absolutely pelted down like it poured cats and dogs.
It did.
And we come up here this morning, and the Oakey Creek, which is just down the road, and I'll drop some footage in of it, was in full flood. Or when I say full flood, it was in full flood as far as Alison and I are concerned. The road was covered for about 50, 60 metres of water, and it was flowing reasonably fast.
We were stopped on the way in by a fellow traveller coming out who said he wasn't going to cross it because he didn't feel he could cross it with his car and caravan.
He had an on-road caravan.
But he thought we would be fine. Yeah,
because we thought we had the clearance because we got the off-road caravan. But when we got down there, I walked through it first up.
Yeah, we stopped and had a look.
To have a look. And it was below my knee, and it wasn't flowing particularly fast. Like I couldn't feel like my feet were flowing out from underneath me. So we made the decision to drive across, and we forgot to film it, of course. But we're probably a bit more concerned about our safety.
Our first time really doing something like that.
It was,
and we concentrated on being
what
safe.
What we were doing, exactly. And what we did notice when I looked in the rearview mirror is all of the two-wheel drive cars that were behind us jumped into our wake, and they followed us across.
I think so.
As we went across.
A gentleman had said if we go across, he would follow very closely behind us.
He said it had come up so quick, like he'd only just gone into Oakey to buy something. He'd been gone half an hour. He come back. He said the road was dry when he left, and when he came back, it was flooded.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was interesting to find out. So anyway, we'll drop in some footage and show you that.
I think there is an alternate route coming into the campground. You've just got to take an earlier exit and kind of do a very big block to come.
There is, yeah.
But we didn't know about that at the time.
No, we didn't know about it because Google Maps just brought us obviously the shortest way.
Yeah.
But if you go onto Google Maps, there is an alternate route. I can't remember the name of the town you turn off at, but there's a pub and a petrol station right there on the corner, and that's where you make the turn. Yeah.
Yes, but we had a look at the road and we figured there's probably another way.
Yeah, but anyway, it was worth the drive out here because it's a beautiful campsite. We probably stay here for about the next 4 or 5 days.
Yes.
Just to slow our travels down, just enjoy it. and then we'll move
the
on
long
from
weekend.
there. It is the Easter long weekend, so yeah, no point in moving her at the moment. We've got a good spot. Even though it's about 10 acres and there's a lot of people here, we've got a pretty good spot where we're pretty much on our own, aren't we?
Yeah, lots of space. No one seems to be on top of anybody.
No one's on top of each other.
Oh, that's great.
Which is good. So what that's going to give me an opportunity to do is what we like to call Maintenance Monday.
I was going to say, what are you going to do with yourself today?
I've always got something to do. So we just do, I try and make every Monday, when we stop, is just make it our maintenance day. Well, I go around, I'll just check the car. Look, I'm no motor mechanic, but I go around and I check the car just to make sure things look safe, and I pump my tyres up and I check my wheel nut tensions, and I do those sorts of things. I do the same to the van. I get the opportunity of cleaning the solar panels on the roof, and I'll show you how we're set up for our 12-volt setup in another episode, and we give you a bit of a van tour.
Yes.
In fact, hit us up in the comments if you'd like a tour of our van, because we'd be certainly happy to show it to you. He's got to clean it first.
Yeah, it's lived in.
Yeah, it's definitely lived in. Even though we've only been on the road for a short period of time, we spent a bit of time acclimating, didn't we? We come in and we've lived in the van since end of December, just after Christmas we moved in. So we're in here about 3 to 4 months, so we pretty much know how to work around each other inside the van, and we also know the sorts of things that we really did and didn't need, and I'm sure at the end of this month-long trip as we go out and around the natural science loop that we're going to find a lot more stuff that we probably didn't need. So we'll just review that all the time and just dump it off either at home when we go back through Brisbane, or when we go past some relatives' places who've got a bit of space in their garage.
We'll see.
Be something like that. Anyway, come and join us for this week's episode. We hope you enjoy it. Oh, one last thing.
What's that?
We released our first episode last week, and it was pretty popular. We got more views than we thought we'd get. And
Thank you very much for
Thank you
that.
very much.
That was really nice.
And people subscribed to our channel.
Yes, and there was some nice comments too.
There was. So yeah, it was great.
Really nice.
So yeah, we'd love you to subscribe. It helps us build our channel,
Yes.
and subscriptions are free.
Subscription is free.
That's right. All you got to do is just hit the subscribe button, and we'll pop up in your feed at some point next week. So our episode's going to come out. We've decided now.
What did you decide?
Every Saturday at 7 o'clock.
Excellent.
All right. So you can get up and have your morning coffee with Steve and Ali
Have a laugh.
on our trip or two all around Australia. So without any further ado, let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it.
Let's
yes.
go. All right.
Bye.
Okay, so as I said before, the Bowenville camp is a 7-day free camp. Must be put on by the council or something, but down here you'll find toilets, there's a kids play area, there's a rubbish area, there's no dump point down here, so you do need to be self-contained. It's nice and flat, well, reasonably flat, so yeah, bringing your van and things in or getting it level's not an issue at all. Great for camping in tents or camper trails, lots of big family groups out here obviously for Easter. Yeah, and the grass is all cut and short. Beautiful place. As I said before, it was full of people when we arrived because it's the Easter weekend, but there's so much room here. There must be at least 10 hectares. But yeah, really, really nice. So we'll hang around and get our work done and start making our way further west. As I said before, today's Maintenance Monday, so today's the day that we get around, we check the car, we check the van, make sure that the wheel nuts are up, tyre pressures are good, you know, there's plenty of oil inside the engine and all of those things. I will do it this week, but about once a month I also get out the grease gun and I go around and I grease up all the nipples around the van, the car, because there's a couple of them suspension in the back of the car, and also underneath the van. But I'll show you the gear that I've got, the sorts of things that I use. Now I think it's important to note, I don't carry a lot of tools. I'm not a mechanic. I don't see the point in carrying a million tools if I don't know how to use those. So I carry the ones that I know that I am confident to use and the ones that I'm probably going to need. But for sure, if you think there's something major that I'm missing, hit me up in the comment section and let me know, because I'm all about trying to learn how to do this stuff myself. So the things that I have at the moment is I have a torque wrench, which I bought from Aldi. It's really good. It's probably not the best quality one in the world, but it does the job. It cost me less than 30 bucks. So I'm really happy with that. I get around, I only use it to tighten the wheel nuts with, so that's a good piece of kit for me. And the other thing that I have is I bought an ARB tool roll, and we've done a bit of research into different sorts of tool rolls, and this one kept on coming to the top. Now, I think it's important that I also say I don't have affiliations with anyone. I don't know anyone in the industry, and I don't think any of them know who I am, and we're certainly not out to promote their products. But what we will promote and what we will share with you is the gear that we've found, and I've been using this now for about 4 or 5 months, that is just really good gear. So this is what I got, and I'll give you a close look in a second. I'll just get it unrolled. All right, so come in and we'll have a look. So this is my tool roll, and these are the sorts of tools that I use. I'll just get the camera sitting in the right spot. All right, here we go. So inside the tool roll, I carry some very, very simple tools. I've got a riveter, I've got a level, I've got these adjustable type spanners, which seem to get around most nuts, but most importantly, it gets around my gas fittings. And so I like that to doing up my gas hoses and stuff like that. A couple of sets of pliers. I've got a hose cutter, which works out absolutely perfectly for cutting that John Guest hose pipe, gives you a nice clean cut and it doesn't crush the pipe. A couple more different sets of pliers, and I've got my crescent here that I use to do my DO35 hitch when I need to remove it. Up at this end of the tool roll, there's just 4 separate compartments. I'll show you what I keep in them. The first one here is just all my miscellaneous gear, so I just like to keep my Allen keys in there. I've got a couple of knives, Stanley knife, a Leatherman, my chainsaw adjusting tool. I keep a bit of tape, bit of glue, just the sorts of things that I thought might come in handy that I might need while I'm fixing things around the car and around the van. In the next one, I've just got all my shifters and things like that. Nothing fancy in there. Once again, I think I bought this set complete at super cheap. It come with a whole lot of sockets as well, which is incidentally in the next one. Look, they suit me perfectly. I had to borrow this one from my brother-in-law. I needed a shifter that was big enough to get around the toe nut. And that's something that I check just about every time that we drive, but certainly I'm going to check today because it's part of the weekly maintenance. So I'll put that one over there. And the other thing that we have here, well, in the last section, I just keep all my screwdrivers inside there. And that's pretty much all the tools I carry in the caravan and the car, other than obviously the jack and things that I need to move things up and off the ground. We carry a grease gun and some Sikaflex, and that's probably pretty much it. Okay, and here's something else that I carry, because as I said before, I'm no bloody motor mechanic. I bought one of these at super cheap. I think it cost me like 30 bucks, but it's the Hain repair manual for a Holden Colorado and a D-Max. So I'm sure if I can't work it out, I can sit and I can read through, but it also gives me a lot of information on, you know, just good service habits and things like that for the car. So, yep, great piece of kit, weighs nothing, stick it into the car. It can come along with us everywhere, and if I ever strike a fault, I can sit down and have a read and see if I can work it out for myself. Okay, after I've been around the car and the caravan, I'm satisfied everything's been done. The last thing I do is I go around and just make sure all the tyre pressures are okay. So we run the an ARB twin compressor, which is just built in behind this panel here, and I've got the air outlet for it just here, and a couple of hoses. The reason I have 2 hoses obviously is so I can get from the car and the caravan. One hose gets you comfortably around the car, but you definitely need the other one to get around your van if you're going to do it from the back as well. And the other thing that we use is the Pressure Connect app, which works perfectly. I preset in the target PSI I want, and for the car I'm going to run the fronts on 40. I do the rears on 44 because of the load with the caravan, and I run the caravan at 44 because Sunseeker told me that was a good pressure to run at, and I haven't had any problems with it just on the normal on normal roads. So I'll get it all hooked up and show you how it works. I really love this pressure control app because it takes all my guesswork out of it. All I need to do is just remove my valve cap. I stick it on top of the tyre so I don't bloody well lose it. Connect the air hose up, and then set my pressure control. So if you have a look down here on the app, if I go to pressure preset, I want 44 on the back. I just hit 44 and the pump will take care of the rest and just beeps at me when it's done. Such an easy system to use. I see so many people, you know, they connecting hoses all over the place and they want to, you know, let tyres up and get them back down. Well, look, we're in no hurry. So this sort of gear really suits us fine. It's all done. Pressure's hit the target pressure. That's all we need to do. I'll go and do the other back tyre. I'll get around the caravan, then I'll go and put 40 in both of the fronts. And we are
good morning, new day, new destination. Alan and I was getting packed up at the moment, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
What do you reckon of this joint?
Oh, it was really good. It's very big, really quiet, and a real surprise. So another gem.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. I'll tell you what, we picked our day right because there's some bloody farming fields out across here and we think they're throwing some fertiliser or something this morning, but
something's a bit whiffy.
There's definitely a smell outside. So we're going to get hooked up. We're going to keep heading west towards Chinchilla today. There's a couple of camps over there. So we want to go and stay at the Chinchilla Weir campsite, which is a donation camp. You've got to go into the information centre. So the red hot tip is to go and get your spot, then go up the information centre, pay your donation, then go back down to your spot.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to find a spot, drive off, come back to find that it's full by somebody else. And if we can't get in there, there's also one that's just before Chinchilla and it's called South Archer River. And that's also pretty highly rated. That's a free camp in there. So anyway, we'll go check them both out. Got a couple of stops to make along the way. We're going to stop at Bunnings in Dalby.
Yes.
Pick up some more supplies. And we'll keep going. So we'll get hitched up and head on down the road.
Yeah.
Chinchilla. I'm just going to top up the tanks with some water. There's a facility here you can easily get your caravan into. You'll find it on Wiki Camps. It's really, really simple. Only need a 10 metre hose to get in there, but you do need your own hose fittings. If it takes a little while to fill up, because it's not the greatest bit of pressure in here, there's a skate bowl over here and there's a little bit of a park the kids can go and play. There's also some toilets here that you can make use of. But other than that, pretty good facility, really easy to find, really easy to get into. Good morning. Well, it's time for us to finish our time at Chinchilla and keep moving west. What do you think of Chinchilla?
Yeah, it's a nice little town. Some nice facilities. I like the parklands.
Oh, that was a great reuse of something that was, you know, just old bloody public works or old railway yard.
Yeah.
Great facility.
Yeah, they incorporated a lot of different elements. They moved the cenotaph there, so they want large public gatherings. It's big enough to, you know, hold the community. They've got a beautiful wet area for the little and big kids to cool down, an indigenous cultural area. I think like trees that were native to the area to encourage the native wildlife back.
Yeah.
And huge wide footpaths. You know, we saw a lot of kids skating and biking and rollerblading along. It was quite a great area, use of the area.
It was, yeah, it was really nice. And the other things we went and visited, we visited the Rotary Park.
Yes.
That gave you a lot of history on the town.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rotary Park was also the start of the Charlie Creek Walk.
Yes.
And Charlie Fisher, he was the Aboriginal tracker that went with Leichhardt when he came up and explored this region, you know, 100-something years ago, whenever it was. But there's a little memorial at the Pioneer Cemetery that talks about Charlie Fisher and what he done for the area. So, yeah, that was really interesting to read and then go and follow a little bit in those footsteps to see it.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing we saw down by the creek was just the bat colony that was down there.
Huge bat.
That was pretty cool, yeah, that was pretty cool. All right, yeah, we just don't see bats like that. But we sort of fly over our heads because we live on the peninsula in Brisbane, and And we do see bats moving around, but we don't see as many bats as we saw there.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was pretty cool. Campground. What do you think of it?
Campground was good. It had it had great facilities like the barbecue areas, the playground, the camp kitchen.
Yep.
It was interesting. We met a few other travellers who talked about they'd been there a few years ago where it was all just grassed,
Yep.
and now they have more defined type bays for caravans where they have some that are
They're all drive-through.
they're all drive-through,
Yep.
yeah, and some are actually powered, which
Yeah, they were.
and for a donation, which is really quite generous of the community to do that. And they didn't like the new setup; they liked the grassed areas.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it was good. It was different because we hadn't been in those sorts of campgrounds before.
We hadn't, no. I think it was like probably the closest thing that we would come to a caravan park, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of a caravan
Yeah,
park.
not that we've stayed in any caravan parks, but
Not yet.
I think if you're into like a bit of off-grid living, but you like that caravan park sense of community, then the Chinchilla is certainly the campground for you.
And if you need, I think, the ability for power or for cooking and stuff, like it has the best of both worlds, which is really wonderful if you're travelling on the road and you don't yet have the power system to back you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you get a beautiful sunset over the wind.
And lovely travellers to have a chat with.
We did, yeah. We met some really nice
We
people.
did.
Yeah, so plan for today, we're going to head up towards Miles because Miles has the cheapest fuel around. In fact, it's the cheapest fuel we've seen in probably about 18 months.
Yeah, $1.77.
$1.77, we couldn't believe it. And a guy told us down at the campground in Whatso, that was $1.77. So we're going to head up there, yeah, definitely hot tip. We're going to go up there and fill up. We do use the fuel map app.
Yes.
And that's obviously crowdsourced, and sometimes that information can be a little bit skewed, but this was spot on. And yeah, so we'll get up there, we'll fill up the car and keep moving west. We'll get out to Roma. We're going to do a little bit of shopping there. I think it's our last chance to hit like a major Woolies or something like that there, so we'll get in and get a few things.
Yes.
Just to make sure that we're topped up for the next week or two, because we're going to head off-grid for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, so
looking forward to
get out and do that on our way to Charleville. What else are we going to do? Oh, they reckon you haven't been in Roma unless you've taken a photo of the bottle tree. So we'll get a photo of the bottle tree, that's our proof that we've been there. And then I'll drop it in, and then we'll move on. We might even pull up a little overnight donation camp at, I think it's called Muckadilla.
Muckadilla, yeah.
Muckadilla. It's about 40 k's on the eastern side of Mitchell.
Yes.
We might pull up there tonight just to experience that type of campground, and then we'll continue our way on to Mitchell, up to Neil Turner Weir.
Neil Turner Weir, yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's about a kilometre of just riverfront camping up there, so we're looking forward to that. But you've also got in Mitchell
The pools?
the artesian pools.
The artesian pools, that's it.
Yeah, it's like the semi-old bones. All right, well, I think we'll end.
After all the renos we've done, yeah, we probably need a good soaking.
So, all right, so I think that's a good note to end there, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. We'll yeah, we'll take you along this next week. We'll probably kick it off around Mitchell somewhere.
Yeah.
And make our way to Charleville. So once again, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you're into this sort of content, then please hit the subscribe button, whack the like button, and we'll see you next week. And we still haven't gone on a day that we'll put the eps out. But I'm starting to think Saturday morning. Saturday morning starting to sound good. So we'll probably go for something Saturday mornings. And yeah, we hope to see you next time we're out and about.
Out and about. All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.